Hello everyone. Myself Sarvanan, and I'm going to walk you through on the topic, BDD, and so how do we practice it in testing, right? So there's going to be the second webinar on testing that I'm doing, and the earlier one was with REST API and Springboard, and now we are going to put REST API testing and Selenium testing and APM, which is the mobile application testing. And we are going to put all together in a tool called Cucumber, right? So that's what the plan, that we are going to do today as part of this webinar. All right, and now. So this webinar, is going to give you an overview on how Cucumber automation works in BDD, and how to write REST assured test in Cucumber, and how to write Selenium test in Cucumber, and how to write APM test in Cucumber, right? So we are, going to talk about, how this test automation works in Cucumber. That's the ultimate goal that we are going to do today. And right. So before we jump into the Cucumber and BDD, let's try to understand what TDD is about. And I would like to take it as a question, team. And can some of you tell me what you know about TDD? You can just put it in the chat. What do you think of TDD, test-driven development? You can just put it in a chat message, and I will be asking a lot of questions throughout the webinar, to make it more interactive. And if you know any details about what TDD is about, please post it in the chat. Unit testing TDD, and test is designed first, then the actual design done. Fantastic. And all right, so what is TDD? Now, what is test-driven development is basically a testing methodology or a programming practice implemented in a developer perspective, right? And in this technique, a QA engineer starts designing and writing test cases for every small functionality of an application. This technique attempts to answer a very simple question: is a code valid? The main intention of this technique is to modify or write a fresh code only when the test fails, right? So the TDD process or the methodology follows the three simple steps, right? So the number one is based on the requirements specified in the document. A developer first writes an automated test case. Then this test will be executed at some point in time. They fail as they are developed before the actual feature. So then the step 3 would be the development team then refactor the code for the test to pass successfully. Right? So that's what the approach of TDD. So just to illustrate it on a picture, and this is what TDD does, right? We first add a test and we execute it, and so it fails. Then we make changes to the code and we execute it until it becomes pass. If it fails again, we make the changes. That's called the refactoring, right? Now, so what are the benefits of it? So why should we use test-driven development rather than the traditional approach of testing? So the test-driven development helps reduce the amount of time required for rework, helps to explore bugs or errors in very quickly and effectively. It helps get faster feedback, encourages the development of cleaner and better design, enhances the productivity of the programmer, and so on. So these are all some sort of benefits of using test-driven development. All right. Now, so the TDD, how it works, the step number one, we write a single test and then we compile it and we implement just enough code to get the test to compile. Then we run the test to see if it fails, and then we implement just enough code to get the test to pass. Run the test, see it pass, and refactor the code, right? Do some sort of modifications or changes to the code. Then repeat the process. That's how the TDD approach works. So this is what the cycle of a TDD team. The red, green, blue cycle, right? Can some of you please tell me what is meant by the red cycle? What is red in TDD? Any idea? This is the whole cycle of TDD, test-driven development. What do you mean by red? Okay, the red is a failed one, right? So what is green? Green is a past one. And refactor, the things that you change, the things that you modify, right? That's what the TDD cycle. Now, when you say red, it's a phase when developer creates a blank function and or implementation and creates specific test for the code. Test used to examine our implementation. Green is basically the phase when developer success to implement the code and pass the test that created before. Refactor is a phase where developer modify the code which is already passed in the test. In refactor phase, a developer can change the items like variable name, summarize the implementation of the code, and changes the algorithm. This kind of an item would be as part of your refactor phase. All right, so that's what the typical red, green, blue cycle of TDD. So what is BDD, team? And what do you think about BDD? We understood what TDD is about, but what is BDD then? Is it same as TDD or is BDD different? Okay. So most of you are giving me what BDD is about, and which is behavior driven development, and that's okay. But what is behavior driven development? All right, let's jump into the concept. So what is behavior driven development? It's basically a testing approach derived from the test driven development. Okay, BDD is derived from TDD, and in BDD tests are mainly focused on the system behavior, whereas in TDD the tests are mainly focused on unit testing. By clear? And so the BDD, in most of the cases, it uses given, when, and then approach, right? And I'll come back to the concepts of given, when, and then little later, not now. But from this slide, what we have to understand is the BDD is actually the part of a test-driven development. And the key difference between BDD and TDD is where BDD focus more on system behavior, when TDD focus more on the unit testing, right? So the key benefits of BDD helps reach a wider audience by the usage of non-technical language. Focus on how the system should behave in a customer perspective, customers and developer perspective. BDD is a cost-effective technique, reduces effort needed to verify any post-deployment effects, right? I'll come back to the image also a little later, not at this point of time. And right, so what is ADD then? ATDD. All right, so acceptance test driven development. So in acceptance test driven development, is basically a technique of a single acceptance test is written in a user perspective. All right, so what is acceptance test? Is written in a user perspective. It mainly focuses on satisfying the functional behavior of the system. This technique attempts to answer a question: is the code working as per customer expectation? Right. So the note: acceptance test driven development is very similar to BDD. Please remember this, team. Acceptance test driven development is very similar to BDD. However, the key difference between them is BDD focus more on the behavior of the feature, whereas ATD focus more on capturing requirements and so on, right? So this technique enhances collaboration among the developer, user, QAs, with a common focus on finding the acceptance criteria, right? The following are some of the key practices in ATD. Analyze and discuss the real world scenarios, deciding the acceptance criteria for those scenarios, automating the acceptance test cases, focusing on the development of those requirement cases, right? So these are all ATDD, all right? So that's a little tongue twister for me. And benefits of ATD. All right, and requirements are very clearly analyzed without any ambiguity and encourages collaboration between the team. And acceptance test serves as a guide for the entire development process, right? So, team, I'm gonna quickly walk you through on the presentation. Then I'll practically, show you how to work with BDD and Cucumber tool. And is there any questions that I need to take you through? Yeah, BDD layman can understand. Correct. All right. So key difference between TDD, BDD, and ATD. So TDD done by developers and BDD could be done by developer, customer, or QAs. ATD, developers, customers, QA. Anyone can do. Languages that are used in TDD could be any development language, could be Java, .NET, Python, anything. When it comes about BDD, then the simple English or the Gherkin language is used. ATD again, same, Gherkin is what the language that is used. Main focus of TDD is going to be unit testing, and when it comes about BDD, and it's going to be system or UAT testing. When it comes about ATD, used widely on acceptance test. So the tools that are used for TDD could be Cucumber and JBehave, SpecFlow and so on. And for BDD, Gherkin, Cucumber, the same thing. And for ADD, TestNG, Fitness, and kind of an idea. So when to use TDD, BDD, or ATDD? All right. So understanding how this model and the method work can help developer and other individuals involved in software development figure out which strategy works best to serve the purpose. Depending on the kind of project and the results it aims to achieve, the right method can be deployed to meet a specific requirement in most effective ways. You could even do mixed match of this methods. You could even mix match of TDD with BDD and ATD, right? So it basically depends upon the project. Great. And now it comes about BDD, behavior driven development. So what is behavioral driven development? It's a software development approach that has evolved from test driven development. However, it differs by being written in shared language, which improves the communication between tech and non-tech, and stakeholders. In both development approach, tests are written ahead of a code, but in BDD, tests are more user-focused and based on the system behavior, right? A BDD 3 practice system, what we have to understand: discovery, formulation, and automation. So first, take a small upcoming change to the system, a user story, and talk about concrete example of the new functionality to explore. discover and agree on the details of what's expected to be done. That is nothing but discovery, right? First we need to identify what we need to build. All right, the next step that we have to do is about the formulation. So when you say formulation, we have to document what we have identified, right? We have to document what we are supposed to build. This is what called as an formulation. The final one is going to be automation. Finally we have to implement, we have to automate the test, right? So in the automation practice, so that is what the three practices of behavior driven development. So just to walk you through on the slides, what is discovery, what it could do, right? And formulation is nothing but like the documentation. All right, so as soon as we identify what we need to build, then we document it. All right, so that's what called as a formulation. Automation, just automating your testing. All right, so that's what comes about automation. Now there are a lot of tools that implements BDD concepts, and some of them are listed out here. And Cucumber, SpecFlow, Behave, JBehave. These are all the different tools available in the market to implement the concepts of BDD. So getting started with Cucumber, right? And Cucumber is an automation tool, all right? So the tool that executes plain text functional descriptions as an automated test. So the language that Cucumber understands is called Gherkin, right? Cucumber tests are written in a single file called feature. Feature file contains a list of scenarios, right? Each line in scenario is called as step, which are defined with the help of given, when, and then, and keywords. Step definition is a place where the automation codes are written for steps. I'll come back to this point later. Steps in a feature file are directly mapped with the step definition. I'll come back to this point also later. Step definition is a block of code written with any one of the programming languages such as Java, .NET, or Ruby, anything. I'll come back to the last 3 points later. But now, first let's understand how this works. I want to ask you a couple of questions. And so feature file. So team, what is feature file? What do you know about feature file? What do you think about it? So what is feature file? How can you define it? Any idea, team? No. So what is feature file is? A feature file is the collection of scenarios, right? So feature file is nothing but it's a file that contains a collection of scenario, right? Now my next question is, what is scenario then? Any idea, team? What is scenario? Test area. Okay. All right. So when you say a scenario here, which is nothing but it's going to be your test case, right? So scenario is nothing but it's going to be a test case. Please remember that. Now, so the test case, okay, or of the scenario is going to contain three, it's going to contain keywords like given, when, and then. All right. So these are all the typical key, keywords, right? Key items. So what is given, team? Any idea? You can put it in the chat box, like, what is given? Okay. So given is going to be your precondition, right? When is going to be your steps, and then is going to be your post condition. All right. So so in a test case of, we have steps, right? The steps will be written as part of your when keyword, and the precondition would be written in given, and your expected result would be written and then. I can even add another keyword which is called and. This is to, like, just club an item. Say for example, when steps, and and I can keep, like, writing a lot of when. I mean, it's equivalent to writing multiple whens. Instead of doing this way, you can just put it in and. All right. Okay. And also we have but for exceptional cases, for exception cases, right? But also could be a keyword that could be used, as part of your scenario, right? Okay. And all right. So how BDD works? The step number one, you have to describe your behavior, and then write definition, run the test so that it fails, and write code to make it pass, and run it and pass. That's how BDD works, team. Right. So the very important, like, way that, or the very important item that we have to remember when we work on any BDD or TDD approach. First, we write a test and make it fail, and then refactor the code, make it pass, right? So that's for the approach that we have to, like, follow in BDD or TDD, right? That's what we are going to do with the help of Cucumber tool. So team, as I explained, so every dot feature file, conventionally consists of single feature. A line, starting with the keyword feature, is what called as a feature. Feature, I mean, is what called as a feature. A feature usually contains a list of scenario. There could be multiple scenarios created. Every scenario is called as one test case, and scenarios together, independent of your file and discovery structure. So given, when, and then, is what the three primary keywords of, like, Cucumber, right? So I mean, Gherkin language. So as I informed you earlier, and feature file is a single file. Scenario is a test case. Given, when, then. This is basically your test precondition, execution, and post condition, and additional test construct. So this is how your feature file will look like, and you could see feature landing page, and this is what the feature. And as admin, I want to, like, see the landing page so that I can log into the application. This is the feature, and then this is what the scenario. Click on a customer login button for the first time. Given, I'm on a home page. When I do this, then I expect this. Then I expect. I mean, this is the precondition. I do it, then I expect it. This is how basically your feature file will look like. Now, so I'm going to walk you through practically how to work with, like, the BDD and Cucumber, and I'm going to show you like how to practice BDD in testing. In this tool demonstration, I'm going to walk you through on how to prepare feature file and how to write step definitions, how to understand understanding Gherkin keywords, running simple feature file, writing runner files and Cucumber options, understanding I'm going to show you how REST API works. REST assured works in Cucumber, but I'm going to take an example of a Jira, and we'll work with Jira and connect it with Cucumber, and I'm going to walk you through how to test Selenium and how to test APM. So this is what I'm going to walk you through for the next available times, right? So now the step number one. So let me check if there are any questions that I have to walk you through. All right. Now, so step number one of to work with Cucumber, what we have to do is that install it, right? Oops. Sorry about it. All right, team. The step number one. I'll take through the questions, at the end of this, and after all the demonstration, I'll definitely walk you through on the questions, right? So now, just let me continue as per the plan, and now step number one, what we are going to do is that to install Cucumber, and I'm just going to go ahead, just go to Eclipse Marketplace. All right, so in Eclipse Marketplace, just type Cucumber, right, and click search. Now you can see the Cucumber Eclipse plugin, which I have already installed it, and so I just want you to remember this. Step number one, you need to install Eclipse Cucumber plugin. All right, so that's the step number one. Step two, create a project. All right, create Java project. Sorry, create a Maven project. Let me walk you through on Maven, and right, and now I just go to File, New. I'll go to Maven project, and so next. That's a next, and I'll give the project name as, say for example, KH webinar. Okay, KH dot webinar. Or I'll just say KHDD. All right, so that's a project of that I want to create. All right, team, and the project is created. Now the next one is like since it is a Maven project, and we need to add few uh, Maven dependencies, right? Now for that, what we will do to make it a Cucumber compatible project, and I'm just going to add just two dependencies that I have to add. Let me go to Maven repository, and then I'm going to say Cucumber, right? So I just need to add only two dependencies, team, and the first one I'm going to pick up the Java dependency of I'm just going to pick up Cucumber. I mean IO.cucumber. This is the recent one, right? I'm just going to pick up this one, and let me copy this, and I'll put it in my pom.xml. And after this, I will now add Cucumber JUnit. Let me pick up the same Cucumber, I mean IO.cucumber JUnit one, right? The same one. I'll copy this. I'll put it in my pom.xml file. So that's it, team, and that's what we have to do. So let me write the steps. Step 3. Add so what are the dependencies that are needed? Cucumber Java and Cucumber JUnit, right? This is what the dependency that I need to add. And that's it, team. After that, all you have to do is that just right click on the project and say configure convert to Cucumber project. That's it. So now here, if you carefully notice, and you could see this green color logo which represents that this is the Cucumber project, right? And that's it, team. That's it, all set, and now we can start creating our feature file. So the first thing that I'm going to create is a very simple feature file that I would like to create. For that, what I will do, I will just tell it this, which I am not interested in. Okay, under the test folder, I will right click and say file. Okay, so every feature file is going to have the extension of .feature. All right, so every feature file is going to have the extension of .feature. I'm just going to work with let's say I want to create a YouTube script. So I'm just saying YouTube web, okay, dot feature, right? Okay, and that's it. Let me finish it. All right, team. And now if you look at it, you could see like green color Cucumber logo. This is nothing but your feature file, and that would have a lot of comments, like say for example author, keywords, and feature scenario. So you could update if you want to update this comments, or you can even delete it if you want to make it clean, right? So I'm gonna make it a clean one. I'm gonna remove all the comments, And the feature name that I want to give, let's say, for example, I would give YouTube search videos, right? So that's what the feature name that I want to provide. And after this, let me remove all the tags which I'm not interested in. And right now, so as I informed earlier, and one feature file can contain multiple scenarios. Every scenario is going to act as a test case, and here this scenario name we could give, say for example, verify videos. Okay, verify videos of YouTube, and is what the scenario name that I'm giving. And given when and then you could see all those items, but I'm gonna create my own. So let me delete everything and create it from the beginning. So I'm gonna say given, and this is the precondition, right? User is navigated to youtube.com page. All right, so that's my precondition. Now the steps that I would like to perform is going to be when once you navigate to youtube.com, and then the user enters text as KnowledgeHut, right, in the search box, then as I informed earlier, I can construct multiple events with and operate with and keyword, right? And I can even write like this, but instead of it, you can write with and keyword. So I'm just going to say and click search button. After the user enters the text as KnowledgeHut, and the user clicks on the search button, then my expected result is page title should contain KnowledgeHut. Okay, that's what my expected result. And then I want to say I want to have multiple expected results, so I'm just going to say and I want to say browser is closed. All right, team. So this is what the scenario that I would like to test, right? So first step, what we have to do is that in BDD approach, first we need to make it fail, right? And then we have to do refactor, correct? Sorry. Then we have to do a green, right? Then red, green, blue is what the cycle that we have to follow is what the cycle that we have to follow in any BDD approach. So green, blue. All right, so first we are going to make it fail, and then we are going to make it pass, and then we are going to do any refactoring the code if required. All right, so now if I run the script, now we can have a look at it. When you run the script, it's failing, right? It fails. Now it says you're using deprecated, forget about it, but it says you can implement the missing steps with the snippet below. Now if you carefully look at it, this is all the missing steps for this particular feature. So what we have to do is that, team, just give me a minute, please. So the next step that we have to do is that carefully just copy this snippet and create one package. Okay, I'll do one thing, team. I'm just gonna put it in a package. Okay. I'm gonna create a package called BDD underscore feature, and I'm gonna put all my what happened. Do I need to refresh it? Oops. Great. So under this, I've just kept the feature file, and after this, I'm going to create one more package here. Okay, and this package name I'm going to give as BDD steps, right? And team, I need 3 items to work with the BDD approach, right? I need 3 items to work with Cucumber tool. What are they? The first thing, I need a feature file. The second thing, I need a step definition file. The third thing that I need is a runner file. All right. So don't forget him. This is all the 3 items that we have to have to work with Cucumber, right? So the first item is going to be feature file. The second one is going to be step definition file. The third one is going to be the runner file. All right. So now we have feature file. Now what we have to do is that we have to implement the automation code. The automation code will be implemented in the step definition file. All right. So the execution condition will be created as part of your runner file. All right. So that's what we are going to do now. So in the BDD underscore steps folder, what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to create a class, right? I'm just going to give a class name as, say, for example, TS001. All right. I'm going to name it as YouTube. Say for example, that's a team. Now the next step, what I have to do is that when we execute the feature file, we have got the missing steps, right? Just copy this carefully and put it in the step definition file. All right. So the moment you copy and paste it and you get the error here saying import for given and import for when, and the shortcut key to import everything is Control-Shift-O. That's it, and all the packages are imported. Now the next step that I'm going to do is that I'm going to clean up the code up, and I'm going to remove all the unwanted lines. Okay, and all right, so let me add some simple sysout statement here. Now I'm just going to say system.out.println. I'm going to say step 1. Navigate to youtube.com, and then I am just gonna say step 2, enter knowledge hut in the YouTube search, right? So that's my step 2. And the step 3 that I'm going to do is that click on search button. All right. Step 4, verify page title. Step 5, I want to say browser is closed. Right, team. And now I have added simple sysout statements. Now the next step that we have to do is that we have to create runner file. So far we have created feature file and step definition file. Now let's add the runner files to it. To add runner file, I'm just going to create one more package here. I'm going to say BDD. Runner. A package name could be anything. Just to make it more simple, I'm just using this naming convention. Now I'm going to create one class here. I'm just going to say TS001, and I'm going to say let's say this is for YouTube, is it? And I'm going to say YouTube, all right? Okay, YouTube runner. Okay, that's a name that I've provided. And now in this, what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to add just very simple 2 lines. Okay, that's what you need to add. The first thing that you have to add is @run with. Okay, and so you have to add the JUnit4 library to it, and I'm just going to add it, and you could see the error will go off. And now after this, I'm just going to say cucumber dot class, right? So you need to just add this first line, team, and @run with cucumber dot class. The second thing that you have to add, the very important item, is you need to just say cucumber options. And because when you execute, you need to say where your feature file is executed and where your step definition file is executed. That you need to specify, right? And for that, you just need to say feature is equal to, and just copy and paste your feature file location that you want to execute. You can copy from this SRC folder. You don't need to copy the complete one. So I'm just copying it from the source folder, and this is the feature file that I'm interested in executing. After this, what I'm going to do is that glue is what the next statement that you have to add. So this glue keyword represents your step definition file. At this point, at this parameter, you need to specify where your step definition file is located. So my step definition file is located under the package called BDD_steps, right? So just provide the name of the package where your step definition is located. All right, so that's the team. That's what you have to do. And there it is, because you need to put it in double quotes. And there you go. There it is gone. Now, all set, team. All items done. First, we have created feature file. The second one we have done with step definition file. Third one, we have created runner file as well. So if we look at the runner file is gonna say what is the feature file that you want to execute and where is your step definition file located, right? There are 2 important parameters that you have to specify in the runner file. When it comes about the step definition file, all you have to do is that automation code implementation will be done as part of your step definition file. Now that's it. Now let's run it, and you can either run your feature file, or you can run your step definition file, or you can run your runner file. Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, this cannot be executed, but however, your feature file can be executed and runner file can be executed. Say for example, if I'm just going to go to feature file, go to run as and cucumber feature. Interesting. I'll go to this runner file, and I'll say JUnit test. There you go, team. It's executed. Now, if we expand this, and you could see YouTube search videos, and if you expand this, you could see verify videos, and in the console, you can see step 1, navigate to youtube.com. Step 2, enter KnowledgeHut in the YouTube search. Step 3, click on search button. Step 4, verify page title. Step 5, browser is closed. Right. So if you execute your runner file, it executes your step definition file. Correct. Now, what if I don't provide this? It's let's try. Okay, and let's try. Now, I don't provide the feature file name, but instead I'm just providing only the package name. Okay, BDD underscore feature is a package which contains feature files. Now if I execute, what will happen? There you go. It's getting executed, right? Please note one item, team. Please remember one item. We have only one feature file in that particular location, in this particular location, right? If you have 10 feature file, all the 10 feature file will be executed if we follow this approach. All right. And if you want to execute a specific feature, then you have to provide the feature file name as well. All right. Now, what if I don't give this, and I go to my feature file, and I just run it as a cucumber feature, right? Just throws me some error. I don't know what's happening. All right, so that's crazy, and it's just a path issue. All right, so I'll come back to it anyways, because there are some still jars are getting downloaded. There are a few issues with that. Forget about it. I'll come back to this a little later. Right. So now, team, if you look at it, that is how the concept of BDD works, right? So the first thing that we have to do is that we have to write the feature file. The second step, we have to create step definition. Third thing that we have to create runner file. Now, in the interest of time, I have already created, the Selenium test and other items. I will just walk you through on it. Now, here, what I need to do is that team, in the step definition, instead of the system.out.println statement, I need the actual Selenium script or APM script, or the rest assured script or protractor script, anything, right? So first, let me walk you through on integrating this with Selenium, right? So to integrate Cucumber with Selenium, the one important item that you have to do is that you need to add just Selenium dependencies. That's it, right? So just add this Selenium Java dependency to it, and the stable version I have picked up 3.141.59. Right. So just pick up this stable dependency and put it in pom.xml file. All right. So now if you look at it, I have kept Selenium dependency in the pom.xml file. All right. So that's it. So when you do that, and uh, your Cucumber is integrated with Selenium. All right. So if you look at the steps, all right. Now, instead of the system.out.println statement, so team, what I have done is I have added all the Selenium commands out here. All right. So if you look at it, user is navigated to youtube.com page, and under that I have mighty.get, and I'm maximizing this, and I'm waiting for 2 seconds. This is what that I'm doing. And on this particular item, which is the user enters knowledge at, I am just finding that particular element, and I'm sending the key as the string that I've captured. uh, I mean, technically speaking, KnowledgeHut will come and get stored here, and because that is as part of your feature file. If you carefully notice, right? So I'm giving it in double quotes, right? So which is string, literal, right? So now this would go in this particular parameter, and and then it gets stored in this variable, and I'm just putting that variable into the send case. So whatever I put there, that will be passed here, and so what I'm doing here, I'm just sending the key whatever I captured, and after that I'm clicking on search button, and after that I check if the title, I check if the title, I check if the title contains knowledge at, and if it contains pass, otherwise fail, and then I'm just saying browser.close. That's what I'm doing. Now if you look at it, team, um, where is the feature file for this? All right, so this is the feature file, right? And you could see the green color you know logo, right? And the green color icons. Now if you see this green color icons on the feature file, that means um, you have step definition file for this particular statement, or for this particular keyword. That's what it means. Now if you press control and click on this, it will open up the particular step definition for you. All right. And you can even click here, and you could see it's getting open. Now the execution order will be same as what you specified here. If you put this up, and first browser will be closed, then it will try to execute the next item, right? So the execution will happen in the order that you have created. Now, so let's say I want to run it. Let's run and see how it works. Let's say I'm going to say run as feature file. Let's see what's happening. Oh, I don't know why it takes such a long time. Sorry about it. Fantastic. There you go. This is opening up. I guess, yeah, that's great. So it's opening up youtube.com and it will search KnowledgeHut and it will check the title and then it will close the browser, right? We look at it and you can see page title should contain KnowledgeHut and that's executed. And video search pass, all right, step 4, video search pass. Right, so that is how you can integrate Cucumber and Selenium team, right? So now you can apparently execute your runner file as well. So what you can do, you can just yeah, YouTube web.feature is what I want to execute, and I can even execute from the runner file even. So there you go, step 01, and let's look at this. Step 1, user is navigated to youtube.com, and then step 2, user enters KnowledgeHut. Step 3, if you look at it, says click search button. All, kids videos are displayed. Video search pass and browser is closed. That's fantastic, right? The script executed successfully with Selenium. All right, so that's a way that we can integrate Selenium and Cucumber. Now, the next step that I will walk you through is about integrating your, rest assured. Okay, so in the interest of a time, I've already created all the scripts, and just to walk you through on it. Now, team, if you look at it, yeah, there are uh, 4 important jars that you have to add to work with rest assured. Okay, and the first one is about rest assured. Okay, and the second one is about JSON path, and the third one is about XML path, and fourth one is about XML schema validator, right? So these are all the 4 key dependencies that has to be added, to the rest assured project, to the rest assured test project. Now, so after adding all this, dependencies to the project, and the next step, let's create a feature file for it. All right. So what I want to do is that, team, I'll tell you what I wish to do, as part of this, rest assured. Number 1, I want to navigate to uh, a URL. Okay, I want to navigate to the URL, and I want to print all the employee data, and I want to end the test. That's what I want to do. Now, what is REST API and all those details, we have covered in the previous webinar, right? So the URL that I would like to walk you through is this one, res.in. Okay, so that's the URL that I want to work with. Now, in this REST API, I want to get a single user. So the request is API/user/2, and when you do this, the response would be the response code would be 200, and the data would be Janet, Weaver, and so on, right? So this is what the response that we get when we send this request. All right, so now how can you integrate, how can you work with REST assured from Cucumber project is, all you have to do is that team, same way what we have done. At the rate given, user is navigated to base URI, and if you look at it, user is navigated to base URI, right? I've executed it. When you execute, this fails, and then I have implemented the code for it. And if you look at the code, user is navigated to base URI, in which I'm just going to give rest assured dot base URI is equal to the path. After that, I'm just going to say when user prints all the employee details. So to do that, I need to navigate to this particular path, correct? And so let's say I want to get the second employee, then I want to print all the details. That's what I will need to do. That's it. And now step definition file is very simple that we have created. Now the next step, what we have to do is that we need to execute it. For that, I'm just going to have a runner file, and in this runner file, I'm just going to specify whichever feature file that I want to execute, and I want to execute the rest assured demo feature file. All right, and let me update my runner file, and in the runner file, yeah, I have the glue and everything, so all set. And let's execute this and see what happens. So it should print me the employee records as Janet and kind of details, right? And now if you look at it, let's see what the output is. There you go, team. And it prints Janet and the employee ID, email address, and all the set of details are executed from your Cucumber project, right? That is how we can integrate Cucumber with API. All right, so rest assured, REST API test. Now the next one that I would walk you through is on. In fact, I've even integrated REST API that test the Jira API, right? Now, if you look at the code, so team, here what I have done, I've set my base URI as a Jira project. Okay, this is my Jira project URI, and then I'm just adding comments to it. Now, if you look at it, I have add comments, right? If you come down, I have comments method, right? Add comments method. So what I do is that team, here in the given key, I'm just adding my basic authentication username and password details, and my header file details, and my the body content, right? So in the body, I'm just passing this function, which is add comment, and so this comment will be added to my project, right? So in the project, this comment will be added to issue called SAM-1. Okay, so to this issue, a comment will be added. So let's also have a look at it and how it works. So what I do is that, let me go to Jira and let me go to my Jira project. Great, I'm already logged in, and So SAM1 is the issue, right? Let me open it. Let me see if there are any comment. The comment of, I have multiple items here. Let me delete everything, and so that we can execute that and check if the comment is added to this particular project. Right, team. So, oh my God, it has so many comments. So there you go. And now this issue does not have any comment, right? Let's execute the script and see if the comment is added. Now, if you look at it, this is the comment of text. So this comment regarding the quality of the response. Let me say, like, this comment is from KnowledgeHut. All right. And that's it. This is the step definition that we have. So we should be having feature file for it, which I already created. And yeah, there you go. I have Jira comment feature file in which it's navigating to Jira project. User adds the comment of to Jira project and end of test. Right. So now if you navigate to that particular location, you can see the step definitions, right? Great. So now let me run it. Great. So now let's go to this Jira project and refresh the page to check if the comment has been added to this project or not. Wonderful, team. And if you could see, this comment is from KnowledgeHut and the comment is added to your Jira project, right? So this is how you can add your Jira API to the REST assured script, right? And this is how we can connect Cucumber and REST assured scripts, right? Great. Now APM. So what is APM? Just for a note, APM is a mobile test tool, right? Mobile automation framework, testing framework, right? Now, if you look at it, I have rest assured. I have mobile YouTube feature, and in this feature file, I'm just gonna give all this, device detail, and I'm going to open youtube.com and I'm going to close the app. That's for the very simple 3-step that I would like to do. So this is the feature file that I've created, and in the pom.xml, if you have a look at it, and you need to add only one dependency, which is called APM Java client. All right, so that's the only dependency that you have to add. After adding this dependency, the next step that you have to do is that create your feature file. Your feature file is something like this, and if you go to step definition file, under the step definition file, I've kept all my device detail, and it's going to be the real device, which is my Android phone. And after that, I want to set the timeout as 25. And just to walk you through on the script team, and APM rest assured is not the focus for today's webinar. Just to walk you through on this script, I'm just doing that. And now, after that, I want to navigate to youtube.com activity, and then I want to wait for 7,000 milliseconds, and after that, I want to close the application. That's what the script that I typically want to do. And how can you execute your your mobile test automation code from Cucumber, right? Now let me open my runner file, and in the runner file, which feature file that I want to execute, I want to execute the mobile YouTube feature file. So all you need to do is that just specify mobile YouTube.feature file, and that's it. After that, execute a script. Let's see what's happening. All right. So team, I'll take 5 more minutes, and then I'll quickly walk you through on your questions. Uh, Now, if you look at it, your test fails. It's because my mobile is not connected to the device. So let me quickly connect my mobile device, team, and what I do is that. Okay. So I leave an open team viewer, and have team viewer here. Yeah. All right. So there you go, and you can see my mobile device. Now, what I want to do is that I want to execute this script on my mobile phone. All right. On my real device. So for that, what I'll do, I'll just execute this runner file and see what's happening in the team view. Oh my God, I don't know what's happening out here. And now, oh yeah, I need to start APM server for it. I'm sorry about it, and all right, and now look at it. My God, it takes longer time. I'm sorry about it, team. Just give me 2 minutes time. I believe it should be open, within 2 minutes time. Since too many items are running at the background, it takes some time to load your APM server. And but meantime, if you have any questions, please post your question. My goodness, it takes a long time. How about I do clear my temporary files. Great. All right, that's amazing. And APM server is started. Now let's execute the script and see what's happening. Oh. There you go, team. It opens up the youtube.com and in a YouTube app, and then it'll wait for 7 seconds. Then it'll close your application. That's it. So this is how we can integrate your mobile test scripts with Cucumber, right? Now, one final item that I'm going to do is that execute all together, right? So now what I'm going to do is that from the runner file, this is my runner file, right? So in the runner file, team, what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to remove this YouTube web dot feature, right? Now, in this case, what will happen is this will execute all the feature files that are stored at this particular location, right? So now, how many feature files we have in this particular location? We have Jira comment, we have mobile YouTube, we have rest assured, we have web app, the Selenium script and so on. So all this 4 feature file will be executed when you execute just a single runner file, right? Let's see how it works. I'll just say run as and JUnit test. So first it executes Jira 1, correct? Then after that it executes your mobile test, correct? Yep. It executes your mobile test. And after that, if you look at it, your Selenium test is getting executed, right? Now if you look at it like employee records, which is again an API, and mobile test, which is APM, and then YouTube search videos, which is your Selenium test. So all scripts are executed. Now you can see the green color bar, it says like all successful. And if you expand, you could see the scenario, verify Jira add comments. So what is that? That is nothing but your scenario name, correct? Now yeah. Now Jira comments feature, right? So what is that? Jira comments feature is going to be is basically a feature name, all right? So you could see the feature that are executed and scenario that are executed in the JUnit execution bar, execution flow, right? All right, team, and we're done as per the plan, and now I'll take you through questions. Please let me know in case if you have any questions, team. I'm done as per the plan. Uh, Let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah, Avik, he's asking if we can leverage BDD for REST API test. Yeah, Sarvanan, you heard that question?
Yeah, I got the question, and uh, so Shiv Kumar, can you please elaborate, what you're saying? Not Shiv Kumar, right? Who say this question?
Avik Chowdhury.
Avik Chaudhary. Can you just elaborate the question a little more? Meantime, I'll just take the other questions. Okay, how many times can we use given, when, and then in scenario? There is no limit, and you could use it like how many times you want, and there is no limit about it. It will be very useful if you could get a recording of the session. Yep, we'll get it done. And could you please unmute me for asking queries? Dipanshu, I would request you to uh, just type in your questions because we. Shruti, is that possible? Just wanted to check with you. Hello.
We can unmute, but Dipanshu, it'll be better if, sorry, Deepti Bhanu, it'll be better if you can please type in, just to be fair to all the audience here. Yeah, because if we unmute you, then everyone else also will have the permission to be unmuted, which won't be possible in the interest of time. So request you to type in the question. So she's typed in a question. How many times can we use given, when, and then in a scenario?
We can use multiple times, the Banu, okay, and we could. There is no limit about it, and you could use it multiple times. Can we write Gherkin for API test? Avik, and absolutely yes, and that's what we have in fact done. And if you look at it, this Jira comment is purely an API test, right? And again, rest assured demo.feature file. This is again a purely API test. If you look at it, it's all like rest assured of script, correct? And absolutely yes, you can do that. I've walked you through on this. Have a look at the recordings when it is uploaded, and all right. Which Eclipse ID version? Which Eclipse ID version suitable for Cucumber? Any latest one is fine. Any latest version of ID is fine. I'm in fact using little older one. I think I'm using 2019 version. From 2019 version, it supports very well, and until the recent version of Eclipse. Yeah, but I would recommend any recent Eclipse version will do well. Yeah. And what is the common challenges when you face in Cucumber? Uh, the common challenges that we face in Cucumber is like just like the other tools. It's just like the other tool. Whatever the challenges that we face, the same item we face here. Even you could see like sometime sometime even the green color icon will not be shown up here, and you know some compatibility challenges would be definitely there when you use Cucumber. Apart from that, just like any other tool, whatever the challenges that you face, you will have it in Cucumber as well, right? So any other questions, team? Any other questions? How to do parameterization? Okay, so just a tip, Bhargava, and you can do parameterization with the help of scenario outline. Okay, instead of if you could just right click and say file, new file, and let's say kh.feature file. The moment you create your feature file, you could see a scenario outlined, right? So this is how you can parameterize in Cucumber. You need to use something called scenario outline. So when you say scenario outline, then which means it's a parameterized test. All right. So these are all your parameters, and these are all your test data, and right. Okay, not able to see the eclipse. Not able to see the eclipse. Oh, maybe I stopped sharing. That's why. Sorry about it. Let me again start. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen now? Okay. Now, when you create feature file, and you will have something called scenario outline. Okay. And so the scenario outline is nothing but your parameterized test. Now, examples are nothing but your test data, the parameter, the test data, the parameter data, and scenario outline in the sense. So this test, is a parameterized one, right? Okay. If command. All right, team, and any further questions, and or we are good to close today's webinar. What is it? So in this way, the feature file will be huge. So many test data in it. Oh well, yeah, feature file, yes, it could be very huge if you have so much of test data. But again, you can even parameterize it with Excel sheet, and you can even use other frameworks also, right? You can use other framework for data driven test, right? So you can use very limited set of data out here, but not a very huge set of data. But in case if you have huge set of data, yeah, of course you can use Apache POI and other frameworks that you can use. All right.